Okay, I'm sorry about that, folks. Twitch decided to crash on me, so I had to kind of get things going again. Sorry about that. Anyway, so we're on our way to Brendel. We're yeah, just for whatever reason. So now it's saying, okay, there we go. Sorry about that, man. Yeah, it suddenly went unstable and it just stopped on me. So, hello again, Mick. Sorry about that, man. It just seems to be one of those mornings. But hopefully everybody comes back in. But yeah, I think everything looks much better. The rocks, it just... Yeah. With the update to the game, it does look significantly better. Yeah, this was... I mean, it was going good, all of a sudden it said no data. See, it's doing it again now. Something's going on with... Well, Twitch is fine. Okay. Man, this is... Oh, goodness. Well, if nothing else, people can watch on Twitch, I guess, if Twitch and Aircast are having problems talking to one another. Well, we'll see if people return or not. Hello, Richard. Well, it just... Yeah, Twitch just suddenly went unstable on me. And then, it just stopped. And so then, the stream here stopped. So, I have to kind of monitor the health of the stream on Twitch, because if it goes unstable, then I lose the feed to Aircast. So, anyways, yeah, but all right. Well, anyway, hopefully everybody's having a wonderful Sunday morning. We're going for about an hour and a half-ish. So our first goal is we are going to go past this via point. We're going to continue on up this way, and then we're going to end up, I think Brendel is right there. I can't remember. Yeah. Well, it's just been a bit weird lately. I don't know. But I think it's stabilized now. So and normally, like when I try to do these services, stream in the morning, it's usually right about that time is when it's like the quietest, I think. Like nobody, it's not like everybody and their brother's on the internet, I don't think. So I don't know. It's just being fussy, I guess. But oh well. I guess everybody just said screw it, and they went to... Alright, see now... Yeah, see my here is showing a flat bit rate. So I have a feeling it's getting ready to crash again. Alright. Give me a moment, folks. I'm going to try this. Okay, I think now we finally, I think I got it stabilized. Oh. Just want to see that little green. Okay. What are my thoughts on Boston to Providence? I like it. Looks good. I'm buying it on the 1st of September. Yeah, it looks good. I'm looking forward to the AC4400, the different F40 PH, because it's got a different brake system. That'll be a bit of a change. So yeah, it looks good though. Otherwise, it really does. I'm looking forward to getting that here in about a week or so. Yeah, about 9 days, a little over a week away. So yeah, that's the hard part, is when they release these routes middle of the month. Unless I know well in advance, But I'm gonna buy the season's pass, get all 3 routes. There's no. Now, of course, my question is, hey Bex, hello again. If they delayed, well, they didn't delay with the problems with the update. Right, and I know that's generally all on older gen consoles have had the most issues, but is it possible? Yeah, our number lights didn't even come on, and I turned them on. I guess that's just something that they're. Oh well, whatever. Does that mean that the release for the Dresden route or the or Bright Main Line, because they said there wasn't going to be a huge gap, in releases, from the rush hour routes. So is that changed? And if so, have they expressed that to people? Because, given how, everybody was told well in advance when they started developing Rush Hour that all this was geared towards the next gen consoles and improving the graphics for next gen console owners, if they don't tell everybody now that there could be a delay on the release of the next Rush Hour route, that's gonna piss a lot of people off if it does in fact happen that way with what's going to happen with that? That's the question I have. Is it going to impact the release of the other routes on Rush Hour? So the sooner they start talking about that and the possibility that there could be a delay, I think that's the safest thing for them to do at this point. But that's on them. But you still don't have all your routes back on Train Sim World 2. Well, I don't. I feel like, and Dovetail Games could not have foreseen. I don't think they could have foreseen this issue, right? The impact it was going to have on the older gen consoles. So we are on the Cane Creek. It is a Union Pacific run railway, Becky. So we left Moab back here, back there. There's a loading facility. So basically we picked up the train from the loading facility, and we are on our way to an area called Brendel. So this is all in Utah. So yeah, this was one of the more recent routes that came out. Technically, it did come out after Cathcart Circle, but on the list it came out before. It's kind of weird. On our menu list, it's like it, because it's usually at the very top is your newest route that you've gotten. So, but this should have come out, I think. The speculation is this one should have come out before Cathcart Circle did. So, yeah, it's a really nice location. Kind of, it's, we're not driving super fast or anything like that. It's just a nice, area here in Utah. It's not a large map per se. I mean, it looks like it, but it's not. It's just that it drives slow. That's the only thing that most people don't like about it. That and does it look like there's fluid on top of the? Anybody else see that? It was like it was shimmering, like there was a reflection. The rocks and all that were. There it is. Look at that. It's like there's something leaking. Right there. That's kind of weird. Yeah, look at that. It's moving. That is really strange. Huh. I never noticed that before, just until now. Must be condensation building up or something. I don't know. The only thing I don't like is normally I park my camera kind of like up here, but it's like we're going through. See, that just doesn't look. Something's not right there. But those are all things that they're gonna have to fix at some point. But yeah, so but it's a single track most of the way. Yeah, it is really lovely. You got this little sort of cut through here, and you got the nice color in the rocks, and that sort of thing. So yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, so the two, there's three. This one, Clinchfield and Sandpatch Grade, really beautiful scenery. The only problem with Clinchfield is it's got a lot of tunnels, so you can't really see the scenery a lot of the times. I like to be outside the cab. Now, I gotta tinker around, I gotta figure out how to do it, but there was a way to go back to where I would basically have my head stuck out the window here, and that way, even if you were to tunnel, you could still see some of the scenery. you know. So, well, not that you could see. Well, your head was out. You know, you could look down the tunnel. You weren't just like stuck in the like in here. So we should go through a tunnel here shortly, at some point, I believe. Yeah, this is a good route. Really enjoy it. It's better. I like it. You know, I don't mind driving like super fast services or, you know, going fast at all. It's just that sometimes it's nice to be able to just kind of, you know, the train's essentially driving itself right now. I've got it. We're going up this incline. We've got help at the back. Although I can't. So we got all these loaded cars. And then we have a locomotive here at the back. And that should be another AC4400, I believe. Yep. There's our back end locomotive. So, yeah. Fly back up here. There we are. Oh, I thought I turned the lights on. I guess I didn't. There we go. Forgot something. I'm driving all this way without the lights on. All right. Not that we need them on during the day, but they are for safety reasons. That's for sure. So I always like to run on this route. They have what they call a weathered AC4400, so it looks kind of dirty, and maybe that's why I got this water, you know, forming on the top here. Maybe that's part of the weathered sort of thing. You know, whereas the other one looks like it's kind of clean, like it's been through the wash a couple times already. You know, so I like this one. Yeah, I like the alternate sort of paint schemes. All right, see you later, Bex. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate the visit. They do have this data plate kind of thing here, it looks like. Can't really read it. I don't know if it's a data plate or just something about... Yeah, maybe it is. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it looks really good. Of course, we come up to the top here and we immediately go into a decline. Going downhill now. Oops. So we've got a bit to go to the 7-mile marker. So yeah, 9 o'clock, we're still planning on Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're doing that flight from Mobile to New Orleans. Hopefully that's going to be a good flight. Hopefully we don't have any crazy requests to go to 18,000 feet or nothing like that, like yesterday. Man. I was hoping that I would have gotten some comments and maybe somebody could have, you know, explained. Oh, I wonder if that's that layer. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep. So when I completed certain things on here, there's the layer with the dinosaurs. Yay! That's pretty cool looking. You got the volcano, you got the different dinosaurs. Look at that. Check that out. That's pretty cool. I was wondering where it was going to show up at, and I was thinking it was going to be like a huge dinosaur next to a mountain or something. But there it is. It's like a theme park sort of thing. Kind of like, well, I want to say it's like Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park, but, you know, something without the rides and all the craziness. So, good deal. Oh, yeah, so flight sim at 9. Probably going to be a very short break between the end of this stream and the start of that one, which is fine. Hopefully we'll have a nice flight. I'm sure we're going to make it a nice flight. Doesn't matter what they say. We're going to make it a nice flight. For tomorrow's Train Sim World 2, let's do I want to try to start hitting some of the other routes again, especially now that we've had the update. How about we do I want to see how we're going to do Long Island Railroad tomorrow. I want to see how Long Island Railroad looks now. So I got 20 miles to Brendel Yard, track 2. That is right there. So we're going to come off here. Our switches are already set right there. Everything else should be automatic down the line there, so I think we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at Long Island Railroad tomorrow. Tuesday, kind of just thinking ahead here. Tuesday, we're gonna do Peninsula Corridor. We're gonna do an all-stop early morning service. It's gonna be like shortly after midnight or something like that. We're gonna do a service from San Francisco to San Jose in the MP36. We are really hauling here. That's the tricky part about getting max points on this route. It's very tricky because you have a lot of this massive downhill sort of areas that it's easy to get the speed back up. And then it's like downhill, and then it goes back uphill again. We're missing points. So yeah, we'll do that. I want to kind of see how it looks. You know, we're gonna not see a lot of detail, but I'm curious to see how it looks at night with the lights and everything. How does the route look overall? That's what I'm looking to see. So. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I think this update really cleaned this route up quite a bit. Like it seems better. The colors look a lot better. Yeah, it just looks better overall, I think. I don't see any of the... Because before, and maybe I'd have to kind of walk around on the route again to see if, you know, but we're going slow enough, I feel like we could pick out any little hiccups in the scenery. The cars seem to drive a lot smoother, whereas before it was like this very skittish sort of weird driving behavior. Although that's a little bit off. The car seemed like it was submerged halfway into the road or something. But I don't buy a train simulator to worry about what the cars are doing on the road necessarily. Although that does just seem a bit weird. Not gonna lie, but it's not to me it's not a deal breaker as far as the game. So I know some people were fussing about wanting more cars or whatever, but anyways. Quiet chat. So I know by the time I get Northeast Corridor here on the 1st, it will have been streamed quite a bit. So of course we're going to have our own take on things. That's what I like to do. You know, we'll go through the training stuff. Maybe we'll do a scenario. You know, kind of just cover things. I do have a book about the Northeast Corridor. Exactly, Mick. So I got to get a few tidbits of information for you guys for the Northeast Corridor. So Mick, get your pen and paper ready. So on the 1st, we'll have a little bit of a history lesson. So try to make it interesting. I'll have to have some note cards prepared myself so that I can I'm missing a couple of the picks or whatever along the side here, so I'm just trying to keep an eye out for those. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to jot down a few things about the route, the history, and all that. And so on the 1st, we'll have a bit of a history lesson. So we'll do. I'm sure you have the training scenario for the AC64. And then we'll do the training for the F40PH, because it is a slightly different, you know, the cab looks very similar to the one that we're already familiar with on Peninsula Corridor. And then I think they probably have a training for their gallery cab car driver location. So we're going to do all that, and then we'll do maybe a scenario. And then we'll wrap that up. But we'll have like a bit of history about the route, and you know, when it started, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So horn codes will not be. You get 1-2 to the horn, or that's it. We're not doing horn code silliness. So, yeah. Somebody was getting a little too frothy about horn codes yesterday in somebody's stream, in Joe's stream. Not somebody in Joe's stream, and got vulgar, was swearing for no reason. So if you take it that seriously, more power to you, but that's disrespectful. You shouldn't. I think part of it is just. I think maybe because there's blind curves, and for safety reasons, if they go too fast, like, I think, you know, with all the weight behind this one locomotive, you know, granted we have one at the tail end to help us with the moving power, but if we were speeding and then there was something well ahead of us, would we have the appropriate amount of time to stop the train before we got, so let's say there was a derailment, you know, and we were cooking along maybe at 60 miles an hour, for instance, and there was a derailment here with all that weight, and let's say we were going downhill, would we be able to stop in time? So I think part of it is it's just a safety thing, that they'd rather maintain 25 or so, especially through here. Plus, I would think that the vibrations of the locomotive going at speed would probably do damage to the roadbed underneath the tracks. I'm guessing. I don't know, but I think that's part of the reason why, Nick. That's the nearest I can figure it. Why it does what it does, but see, that's why I think if Dovetail Games talked to an actual Union Pacific engineer who worked on this line and did a short interview with them, a little Q&A, I think that'd be one of the questions that most people would ask, is why the slow speeds, and that person would be able to certainly answer that very as honest as possible. Why, do they act, because I don't think they would just put, Dovetail Games wouldn't just put on, oh, you're limited to 25 miles an hour, unless there was a reason for it in real life. So I kind of feel like that's the case, is there's a reason for it, but it's not. And maybe that's something that they could be, even if they don't do an interview with like a Union Pacific engineer or a former, like somebody who's retired, but they could answer those sorts of questions. If they could find that out, right? So let's say when they do the training scenario, right? Or your tutorials, whatever you want to call them. If Matt, so let's say, I think on this route, Matt was the one that kind of talked about the route, kind of pointed some things out and all that. If Matt or whoever does that says, you'll notice that the speed is limited to blah, blah, blah on a majority of the route, that is because of X, Y, Z, then people will be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because otherwise it kind of sometimes it feels like I should be able to go faster. Why can't I go faster? So people have those questions, I think. So yeah, that would be one I think they could include in the tutorial sort of thing, so that people just kind of know. You're teaching the players a little bit about the route as well, on top of teaching them about how to operate the locomotive. So I think that would be really cool. That way people get a better sense of this happens because of this. Give people some information like that, and they'll soak it up, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, now that, that makes sense. I think the bad part is that for most players, this route looks phenomenal, right? I think we would all agree. It looks amazing. It's really interesting scenery. It's not like what we normally would seen before in the game. But when we talk about time or anything like that, it's like they don't really, it's like they're nervous to explain, or say it's really going to take, like we've talked about on Sand Patch Grade before, those services don't take 90 minutes to complete. You're lucky if you make it to your summit area in 90 minutes. But the service overall will take 2.5 hours. Most people, if you tell them, hey, this is going to take you about 2.5 hours to complete, not the 90 minutes, most people aren't going to do it, because they're like, oh, that's just too long. I want to go in and go fast. So they need to be a bit, but I know, because most people, 90 minutes, okay, that's nothing. I got 90 minutes to spend, So this one says about an hour and a half. Now, of course, we've had a few hiccups along the way. So we're going to get to our destination here at Brendel. We got 14 miles to go, but also remember, that's a straight line distance. That's not a, including the few curves that we have left and all this other stuff. So it's hard to judge time and distance sometimes in this game. Either they underestimate it and then it takes longer, or I've seen it before, it seems like they overestimate and it doesn't take as long, and you're like, oh, I was expecting it to take an hour and it only took 45 minutes. Oh, that's pretty easy. So I don't know if it's something they just kind of guess, maybe. I'm not really sure how it works. But again, that's something that, I'd like to see Dovetail Games kind of answer, or, kind of give a better explanation regarding how do they determine these sorts of things. Now, one of the things I do want to do, I'm just thinking about this as we pass this airport here on the route, I do want to fly into this airport at some point. When, if we can, we're gonna maybe go from somewhere in Arizona maybe to Utah, or maybe southern Nevada into Utah. But yeah, I'd like to fly into this airport here. We gotta find we are near Canyonlands Field Airport. Okay. So Brendel, we have 2 more points to pass. So there's Cooper Ridge, or Copper Ridge. Is it Cooper or Copper? Cooper Ridge, and then County Road, and then Brendel right there. But yeah, I want to fly into that airport right there. That'd be pretty cool. If we could find the route and maybe kind of follow along from the air or something. Ooh, better yet, maybe this coming, well, no, I can't do it this coming Saturday. We'll just fly. We'll go to that airport. We'll take off. We'll be in the Cessna 152 because it's a little bit slower and all that. We can maintain a lower altitude. We'll just take off from this airport and we'll find the route. We'll find Cane Creek and we'll follow it. We'll fly up the creek, fly up the rail line, basically, and we'll come back around and we'll land. There we go. That sounds like a good idea. I like that plan. I think that's a good plan. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if even if you Google, why is Cane Creek limited to 25 miles an hour? I don't know if there would be a. I know Union Pacific has their own YouTube channel. Maybe they would, if they had like a Q&A session on there. I don't know if they do or not, but if they had one on there, that would be a good question to ask them also, because they would probably be able to say right then and there without, But their stuff, I think, well, predominantly for a while there, the big thing that they had going on, of course, was the fixing up the big boy locomotive, and then they went through the whole process of how they did all the work on it to get it operational again and everything. But I wonder if they do have like a Q&A session on there, sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if there's like a book about Cane Creek subdivision. Well, anyway, so yeah, we are getting closer, kinda, sort of, to Brendel Yard Track 2. Let's just double check, or we'll check again, but it's always good to check our switches and make sure nothing has changed. We'll pull in there and stop. Now, the interesting thing is, I think when we get, there's an offloading, so you go through here, you offload all the hoppers through here. That is a service you can do. It shouldn't take very long to do. It's just that you gotta go very slow. And then I think you pull in here, right? And then the locomotive would separate and then do an end around and then come in and pick up the empty hoppers again for return service to Moab or Potash. Oh. Yeah, I'd have to look. Matter of fact, while we're just kind of cruising along here, because we're doing okay. Let's get together. Let's go to Cane. Railroad. Let's see if there's any books. Nope, I'm not. Oh, no. No, doesn't look like there's anything about this. Books about Union Pacific, but I don't know that it would have. City routes. Oh, they have a 2022 wall calendar out for Union Pacific. Huh. Interesting. Well, I'd have to look. I was looking for something more specific. My time for some information for you. Oh, Canyonlands opened about 1965. They replaced the runway in 1985. They built a bigger hangar in 2010 to handle the 50-seat regional jets. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Well, we learned something new. Well, now that's I would have never have known that. So 65, yeah, this area is probably still pretty rural. There probably wasn't much happening out here. As a matter of fact, I would think that most people who lived out here either worked at the mines, the potash mines, or they worked for the railroad. Or they were maybe surveyors, or who worked for the mining companies, maybe land surveyors. But yeah, I imagine it was probably, most people probably came out here because it was pretty quiet, middle of nowhere sort of place. Now, of course, most people probably fly in on those regional jets because, as most people probably come here for hiking or skiing. There's a lot of trails in the area, so this has become a pretty big destination for hikers. But I imagine, when back in 65, this area was probably pretty much untouched. It was probably a lot more peaceful, and now, you have a hiking culture that's always looking. Yeah, I think people were always looking for some sort of a metaphysical experience out here. And, it's like, but it's like, I think everybody's wanting that. And so it becomes kind of crowded, and it loses a bit of its, appeal after a while. The people who probably lived here are probably tired of all the touristy hiking, who just, there's a lot of people just don't, they claim to love the land, but they don't treat it very well either. So, yeah, it's, but, the potash mines and the railroad certainly probably provided pretty well-paying jobs for a lot of people in the area. Most people, if they spent 20 or 30 years or so on the railroad, that's a pretty good pension. Yeah. Nice, I mean, the other thing too would be if you fly into that airport, right? Rent a car. I mean, the great thing would be that you could drive along these roads, and unless there's a fence, and there could be, I don't know, but you could even maybe walk right halfway into that. You know, you walk halfway in, you could get some phenomenal pictures of the trains as they go by. Now, I don't know how many trains they operate. You would have to get like a timetable, sort of, you know, understand how often they run. Or you could get a scanner and just scan the radio frequencies and hope you pick up a train departing from Brendel or from Moab or something. But you may be waiting out there all day. But yeah, if you could look up a timetable and you say, oh, you know, this train departs Brendel at 8:30 in the morning, and you park. Let's see, there's the sun. So if you could get across somehow, maybe, or something, I don't know, and just set up so that the sun is at your back and you get the train as they come through here, yeah, you get some pretty phenomenal photos, I would imagine. Hello again, Joseph. Sorry about earlier. My Twitch decided to have a fit on me, so welcome back. What's the latest and greatest with Mr. Adams? I don't know, and that'd be, you know, now that I see, you know, rereading your comment again, not that I didn't read it before, but, you know, the cabin thing, Mick. Now I'd be curious to see who owns, is there, you know, is this like owned by the government, or, you know, what is the land ownership, who owns it, so that if you did say want to buy a tract of land and build a cabin, maybe like say somewhere over in here, right, who has the rights to that land? Who would you have to buy it from, or is it even for sale? So Mick, are you sick or something? He says, hope you get better soon. Have you been under the weather or something, Mick? That either I forgot or wasn't tracking? Or did I misunderstand something? I'm confused now. Oh, the arthritis. Yes. I did remember that. Yeah, you said you had a problem with your neck. You couldn't turn your head. You had to turn your whole body, kind of thing. Yes. Okay. The arthritis. I thought it was something else that was happening. Or oh, okay. Well, that's the joys of getting old. Arthritis. Plus, you're trying to keep up with the youngsters around the house, too. Now, let me ask you this, Mick. Does with the weather changes, like in the winter or if it's been raining a lot, does your arthritis act up worse during those periods of time? Yeah, I would think so too, Mick. Yeah. Well, you know what they say, anything's for sale for the right price. But, I mean, you'd have to tap into the power grid, you'd have to have water, a waste system. Oh yeah, my knees are on fire in the winter. Yeah, I could understand that. Yeah, in the winter time, my knees are just like, it takes me forever to get out of bed sometimes. But I should be able to make an appointment with my new doctor at the clinic. I got to call tomorrow and schedule that appointment. My initial appointment with my new doctor. And that's something we're going to have to discuss. Is my knees. I need to get new X-rays done to see the level of degeneration in my knees, where it's at, and that sort of thing. I mean, I can still walk at a pretty good pace, but, you know, I imagine the next 10 to 15 years that is not going to be the case. I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is every joint. Oh, yeah. Yep. I've heard of that. I think we've had family friends that suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. Yeah. And that really sucks. I remember years ago I met a Pearl Harbor survivor. He was a machinist mate on one of the ships when Pearl Harbor got hit, and he stayed a machinist, I guess, his entire life, and his hands were just gnarled over. You know, like he couldn't open his hands all the way, even halfway. They were just almost permanently stuck in a certain position. I guess those are the sacrifices you make when you're providing for your family. And back then, of course, you know, when he had a family, the man was the one that went to work, and the wife stayed home and took care of the kids, and so that was the price for all that work. Yeah, we met him at a is it 4th of July parade? I think so. Yep. It was. We did, when I was in the Guard, we did in Concord there, they had a little 4th of July parade. And so me and, I think it was like 4 or 5 of us, maybe a few more people, but yeah, we were part of the parade. We'd be in our uniform and all that, and we'd do like dismounted sort of stuff. Yeah, bananas. Hello, Ryan. But we look past that and carry on gaming and do streams and have a laugh. Yep, exactly. It reminds me, I gotta message somebody this morning before I forget. Hello, Ryan. Yeah, we had a great time doing that. We did, we'd have our Humvees and we'd stop and jump out and do a kind of patrol-like thing next to the vehicles and, do that sort of stuff. Kids loved that. They thought it was the greatest thing in the world. That's an interesting times out in Concord, to say the least. Oh boy, that's making me think of stories. And I'm just updating my TSW2. I guess rush hour is better. Yes. So the graphics have significantly improved, Ryan. If you do have a PS5, so you will notice. The lighting has improved overall. You guys had looked pretty good on the PS5 to begin with, but now that they have updated the Unreal Engine, you'll see the lighting's a lot better, the shadows and everything. Even things like the grass here, stuff like that. It's going to look a lot better. The people who are having the most trouble right now still are PS4, Xbox One X players. A few people on current gen have reported a few problems, but generally those have been resolved very quickly. But they've been slow to release. I think Dovetail has released patches, but Sony and Microsoft have been slow to put those patches out, apparently, or something like that. It's a very weird situation. I can only tolerate a stream like Joe's. It's becoming unbearable because people come in, and Richard's probably in a similar situation. People, and thankfully we haven't had cheers, Mick. Yeah, exactly. But people have been coming into the streams. I think Friday, Jamie was doing just a train driving stream on the Dovetail, like on Train Sims Twitch or YouTube channel or whatever. People were coming in just fussing about the poor rollout of the update, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's most people are still having problems, but they're coming into streams and just fussing about it as if that's going to change anything. Some people claim that they've gone to the Dovetail Game forums and lodged a trouble ticket or whatever, so that's all you can do, and be patient. But it doesn't seem, we were talking about this in Joe's stream yesterday, Amela and I. The word patience isn't in their vocabulary. Matter of fact, one person went so far as to say, I'm being as impatient as I possibly can be. Now, I don't know if they mistyped it, but in a lot of ways, that's the 100% truth. They are being as impatient as they can be. No. I know, Ryan. I'm just telling you that the for new gen console owners, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, we got a huge improvement to the game overall graphically. The older gen console players have had, like, their roots have disappeared. They're struggling to get those back. You know, some people have inadvertently paid for roots that they had already owned. So now they got to sort out getting a refund because they thought that they were being forced to rebuy roots that they had already purchased in the past. It's just, but yeah, a lot of people have just been fussing about the update overall. It took me about 2.5 hours to download all the updates. But yeah, I mean, it's significantly better. So, yeah, I agree, Mick, and that's the thing, is that they, you know, this idea that, oh, if I go into Joe's stream, for instance, and I'm not just, you know, I'm just using him as an example, and moaning about it there, it's not going, Dovetail Games isn't going to go like, oh my god, little Joey in wherever in the world is complaining about we better get this out right now because little Joey's complaining. They can only work as fast as they can, okay? They do have to be, you know, you can't expect them to work 24 hours non-stop, okay? Because then somebody's going to have to pay for that work, right? So, it's a bit of a mess, not going to lie. But, as Joe pointed out yesterday in his stream, everybody was told, either you exactly run it. The issue is that I think in roadmap updates, in roadmap live streams, it was explained numerous times that this update is geared towards next-gen consoles. Now, if you ignored that, right, and you thought, oh, it's not going to impact me, well, you know that there's a good chance that it was going to impact you, and it may not impact you in a positive way. The problem was that the graphics on Train Sim World 2 were geared towards older gen consoles. Once the new gen stuff came out, and it's like, okay, you paid how much ever you paid for a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, the newer stuff, you were expecting a huge leap forward in graphics, right? You were expecting it to look a lot better. Well, in some cases that was true, and in some cases it did not look very good. So then, you know, that's when people started to wonder, okay, are we running at a, you know, graphically, are we running still at PlayStation 4 graphics? Well, it turned out that was most likely the case. So then people started to wonder, well, then why did I buy a next-gen console, right, if my graphics don't look better? Now, admittedly, the PS5 graphics did look massively better. So I think that was already there for them, for the most part. But for Xbox players, we were still stuck on Xbox One X, Xbox One S sort of graphics. So you get a lot of clipping, you get this, it looked crappy, you know, or we had the memory resource errors, right? So if you thought that it wasn't going to impact you, you may have been a bit misled by your own thinking, you know. That's when they said that, when they said this is geared towards next-gen consoles, my first thought was, I got to get a hold of a next-gen console. Because if I don't, my graphics are going to look like garbage. Now, I get it, not everybody can afford a new console right now. Yeah, so that's the thing, is they're trying to sort all that out. The missing roots, Richard was saying earlier that he's still missing some of his roots. It's just going to take it sorted out. I guess, if you've got the game on PC, or you've got like Train Sim World 2021, well, you could play that in the meantime, until things get sorted, so you can still enjoy. But I get it too, not everybody has a gaming PC. But yeah, it's just it's hard to sit through. I've blocked so many people because they just come in as soon as they start. Well, how come this? And I'm pissed off. And I tried to engage some of them and say, well, have you gone to the Dovetail Game forums? Have you filed a trouble ticket? Have you looked to see if anybody else is having the same problem? Maybe Natalie's already put in a solution to the problem. I'm not even going to waste the time anymore, because it doesn't register with them that there is a place they could go and look for answers. You don't have to sign in. You only have to create an account and sign in if you want to post something, but it doesn't cost you anything to create an account. But I get it. Some of them are kids, and they're, oh no, we don't want you to give out your information because then you're going to get inundated with all these emails and blah 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 blah. Well, don't know what to do to tell you. Exactly, Mick. That's exactly it. I don't know. It's just, I think we're in an era now where people complain just to complain because other people are complaining. That's all it is. They don't have any, when you question people, have you gone and done this? Well, of course I have. Okay, I'm just asking because maybe you didn't realize if you did this, this, and this, that maybe things would fix themselves. Well, so it's just, you try to engage people and try to help them sort out the problem, but then they don't want any part in solving the problem. You have a role to play in solving the problem. If you do things that don't, like buying routes that you've already owned, and then you're going to go in and get pissed off because you spent money you didn't need to spend because you did it out of an emotional response, instead of saying, okay, well, I don't think I should do this. Let me wait and see, because that's just going to be a whole nother problem you're going to have to get sorted out. Ryan. That's pretty good. But I don't know. It's just, some people just don't. They have a hard time just. We have the greatest research tool ever known to mankind, called the internet. And you have a website dedicated to the game. You have forums dedicated to different platforms: PC, Xbox, PlayStation. But it's like they just, oh no, I can't, no, I'm not going there, I'm not doing. Well, there's your best source of answers. If you don't want to do that, that's on you. But it shouldn't be that your solution is, oh, I'm just going to come into somebody's stream and be all pissed off and, oh, I'm sad and angry. And what do you want me to do about it? Oh yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. And you try to help them, and it's like talking to a wall. Have you tried this? Have you gone here and looked this up? Have you, if you put in a trouble ticket, give them time to respond. They've probably got a lot of stuff to sort through. But Natalie's done a pretty stand-up job, I think, given the situation, and tried to tell people, hey, don't do this, don't spend any more money, because you don't need to buy routes that you already have owned. Give us time to sort it out, and everything will be fine. But I guarantee you there's people who are going to ignore that advice and do it anyway. Because that's just how some people are. So, yeah, I think it's part of it is just a bit of maturity, Mick, on our part. Yeah, I've gotten frustrated before because there was times that things just didn't seem like it. I'm like, why is this not working? Especially after I invested in an Xbox Series S. Why am I getting memory resource errors? Well, because the game is still operating under Xbox One X sort of architecture. Well, okay, that explains a lot then. There's a couple of locomotives ready for service, waiting for us to pull off here so they can get underway. Looks like two AC4400s there. Or at least maybe a GP38 and a AC4400. Walls are more helpful. They hold up a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's crazy how unhinged people have gotten in stream chats, and I guess the roadmap stream is day after tomorrow, I think. Well, they're still going to catch a lot of hell in that roadmap stream. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it is roadmap stream time. Well, don't do it. Put a note to yourself, Ryan, because all that's going to do is you're going to have a whole nother issue to resolve. And that's just going to even be more problematic. Because you're going to have to get in touch with Sony, and Sony's going to be like, we can't help you. You're going to get the runaround on that, and that would be a whole nother issue that you have to deal with. Well, there we are. Ta-da. Let's see, did we get a silver? No, we got a gold anyway. All right. Well, that is going to be the end of that. I will see you all in an hour on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Thanks all for sticking around despite the little hiccup this morning. Hopefully we don't have that when we are on Flight Sim. So I will see you in an hour. Thereabouts. Take care. I will see you soon. Bye.